He's admitting like, hey, I actually don't even know the population size of Iran. I do expect you to know the population size of Iran. That'd be a pretty basic thing if you're going to vote yes to going to war. And the reality is he can't answer that question because like many people in Congress, left and right, they vote according to how they are lobbied. So if it's big pharma, they're voting for everyone to have to take the COVID vaccine because I took X amount of dollars from big pharma, right? Or I took X amount of dollars from this pharmaceutical company. If it's big war and you're dealing with the nonstop war, there's always been a threat in the Middle East, right? And we've lost all of those wars, right? The Taliban has our weaponry. There were no weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. Generation 9/11 has grown up. We are demanding that all of you be able to answer some basic questions and to explain why a threat, which Tulsi Gabbard, the director of national intelligence 8 weeks ago, sat down in a congressional hearing and testified that there was no nuclear threat 8 weeks ago. Now, suddenly, 8 weeks later, there is one, right when Israel decides that they want to bomb Iran.
I am Savvy Mike, and this is I Am Savvy Mike TV. And before we get into this clip, I think we should have like a mini town hall meeting. I promise this won't be long. This is just for anybody who watches this channel or supports me or fucks with me or don't fuck with me. This is for the trolls as well. This is for the first and last time listeners, as Joe Budden would say it. Look, at the end of the day, y'all haven't said nothing harsh enough to make me quit. I read them comments every day, and y'all talk y'all shit, y'all do, and I commend it. I'm proud of it, but it's not good enough. So I'm challenging all trolls and haters of this channel, all trolls and haters of me, all trolls and haters of the people at I Am Savvy Mike TV. I am challenging every single last one of y'all to get into these comments and troll away. Give me your most scathing, your most hateful, the most hateful thing you can say, whether it be about me, Stephen A. I don't give a fuck. Just I want to hear it. I want because y'all aren't hating hard enough for me. Y'all down there hating, but it ain't hard enough. So I turn it up. Go down there and turn the fuck up. Now, for the people that do fuck with me and like me and like seeing this content, please make sure you leave a like and subscribe. Please do. But for the haters, the trolls, the first and last time listeners or the last time listeners, get in them comments, go crazy. Scathing. I want it scathing because I'm going to tell some honest truths today. Look, don't worry. There is no academics on the docket. I know the last few days, this has turned into an academics part 2 channel. You know, you got the Academy. This is the Academy 2. No, this is not the Academy 2. I'm just saying. But it wasn't much going on outside of Pusha T dissing Travis Scott and the Diddy case, of course, which we'll get into that. Cam interviewed one of the escorts that was at the Diddy trial that testified and whatnot. So we'll see what they're talking about over there. We'll get to that in a minute. But it's no academics today. No academics on the docket. You have my word. You have my word. I promise you. So for all the people that don't like Ack, trust me, we won't talk about him today. We won't talk about him today. But today, I might piss you off in another way. So I'm going to be honest about this woman up here. I have to be honest about Candace Owens today. Okay? I'm sorry. I don't like wishy-washy people. Now, I can understand being a critic and criticizing the side that you're on, especially if they're doing something you don't approve on. But when it comes down to it, how can you be mad at Trump and Ted Cruz over this war stuff that's happening with Iran and Israel? If you don't know, Israel bombed on Iran. Iran is sending bombs back, and they're talking negotiations. Look, we might be getting ready to gear up for either another war in Afghanistan or World War III. We just don't know yet. We're on pins. Everybody in the world right now is on pins and needles, more so because you got Iran talking the most shit ever. Because they're like, oh, everyone will feel it. Everyone. Like, they're talking some crazy shit. I seen like a clip of a judicial meeting they were having, I guess, or a Senate meeting. I don't know what type of, but they were burning the American flag on a piece of paper, just chanting death to America. It's nasty work right now. I'm not just fear mongering. No, this is some shit I actually saw. I could pull up if I wanted to. But it's nasty work at the moment. So I can understand her feeling how she's feeling and violating and going off on Ted Cruz, which we're going to get into. But my thing is for people like her and Tucker Carlson and everybody else that's on that side that, of course, is saying war is bad. Where are y'all when we're inside, race type wars that are going on? Where's Candace Owens then? Because when we have stuff like that happening, when we have people getting detained by ICE and the Black Lives Matter movement and just basically all the racial issues that happen in America, she's on the white folks' side. she's with them. she's over there. And I know why. I get it. One, because that's probably is how she feels. But two, it benefits her to feel that way. It does. That's why white people don't like me, because I'm not going to sit here and kiss your ass. That's all Candace Owens going to do. Unless it comes down to sending American troops over to fight a war with Iran and Iraq because the Jews started it. That's what she's saying. So, we'll get into it. No, long intro. It don't matter. I played the clip before. So if you're still here, you rocking with me and I'm rocking with you. Let's not shout out 1090 Jake. Anyways, let's get into this. Let's listen to what Candace Owens and Stephen A. Smith had to talk about.
Let me move on to Tucker Carlson while I have you here. And I want to get into you a little bit later because I want to talk about some things involving you directly. But right now, I wanted to touch on Tucker Carlson, the former Fox News host, got into a fiery exchange on Tuesday, with Senator Ted Cruz over his support for President Trump and his posturing towards Israel. At least that's what Tucker Carlson claims it to be. I want to show you this clip right now with Tucker Carlson getting into it with Ted Cruz. Take a look at this, Candace.
How many people live in Iran, by the way? I don't know the population. At all? No, I don't know the population. You don't know the population of the country you seek to topple? How many people live in Iran? 92 million. Okay. Yeah. How could you not know that? I don't sit around memorizing population tables. Well, it's kind of relevant because you're calling for the overthrow of the government. Why is it relevant whether it's 90 million or 80 million or 100 million? Why is that relevant? Because if you don't know anything about the country... I didn't say I don't know anything about the country. What's the ethnic mix of Iran? They are Persians and predominantly Shia. Okay, it's not even... You don't know anything about Iran. So I am not the Tucker Carlson expert on Iran. You're a senator who's calling for the overthrow of the government. You're the one who claims anything about the country. No, you don't know anything about the country. You're the one who claims they're not trying to murder Donald Trump. You're the one who can't figure out if it was a good idea to kill General Soleimani, and you said it was bad. You don't believe they're trying to murder Trump. Yes, I do. Because you're not calling for military strikes against them in retaliation. And if you really believe that... We're carrying out military strikes today. You said Israel was. Right, with our help. I'm saying we. Israel is leading them, but we're supporting them. Well, you're breaking news here because the U.S. government last night denied, the National Security Council spokesman Alex Pfeiffer denied on behalf of Trump that we were acting on Israel's behalf in any offensive capacity. No, we're not bombing them. Israel's bombing them. You just said we were.
See, this is why y'all kissing white ass right here, because a nigga will literally sit there and try and spin you. Like he's trying to spin Tucker Carlson. It's just now all of a sudden he it's a light bulb going up above his head. He's like, wait a minute, you're saying one thing and then saying a completely other. My nigga, are we helping Israel fight this war against Iran or not? It's a simple question. I don't understand why look, I don't like talking about politics over here, but trust me, I listen and I watch, I hear everything. I am Savvy Mike. I am the savviest of Mikes. I know it all. So regardless of it, I have to pay attention because this shit is clearly seriously. Although I don't think anybody's really interested in what I feel about politics, but regardless of it, I just find it hilarious that the people within the same base of that they support are arguing with each other and fighting with each other over this. But when niggas are clearly wrong on other things, we turn a blind eye. No, let's not talk about this. Like, what are we doing? And Ted Cruz is an idiot. Well, I'll let Candace Owens say that.
We are supporting Israel. High stakes. You're a senator. If you're saying the United States government is at war with Iran right now, people are listening.
Candace, you saw that. What do you make about that face-off right there? Your thoughts?
So first thing I want to say is I greatly respect both of these men. I very much like Ted Cruz as a person. I have had nothing but positive relations with him anytime that I've come across him. But in this clip, it really embodies everything that I think the American people are so frustrated with, right? You have a person who is keen to go to war with Iran, and he is suggesting that it is, I guess, a form of trickery to ask him, what is the population of Iran? If you're going to make a vote that we should go to war with this nation on behalf of Israel, and it is a fact that Ted Cruz accepts a lot of money from AIPAC, so they lobby, and the Israel PAC lobbies. He's one of the senators that takes a lot of money from AIPAC every year. You would imagine that you've made some estimation in your mind that there is a imminent perceivable threat to the American people if you are in fact America first and concerned about Americans, and B, that if we go to war with them, we can win. And so in going through that line of questioning in your head, can we win this? Like, is there a threat to the American people?
My bad, hold on. I just want to also make this other point, because Ted Cruz said that, yeah, they're trying to kill our president. Of course we should. Ted, buddy, if you don't know, I don't know where you were during that election cycle, but it's niggas in this country that want Trump dead because they went and tried to kill him themselves. They got clapped and it didn't work. It didn't happen. But the Taliban, I thought they got disbanded. So I'll just, Iranians, the people in the Middle East, of course they want Trump dead. Like, what? What? Honestly, I can name you millions of people in this country that want him dead. I'm sure every Hispanic that voted for him and is seeing how he's treating these people, treating these other Hispanics and deporting them and getting them, they want him dead. Hell, I hear the fucking person that's the head of Department of Agriculture and Farming, they mad at Trump right now because he keep deporting all the Mexicans picking the fruit and fucking vegetables. I'm sure she want him dead. What are we doing? Like, really, what are we doing? And look, I'll say this much. I'll just see that. Look, the only white man ass I'm kissing is the one that's signing my check.
Are going to assess the population size. Like, we're a nation of 300 million people. How big is our military? They're a nation of how many people? How big is their military? And he hasn't done that. He's admitting like, hey, I actually don't even know the population size of Iran. I do expect you to know the population size of Iran. That'd be a pretty basic thing if you're going to vote yes to going to war. And the reality is he can't answer that question because, like many people in Congress, left and right, they vote according to how they are lobbied. So if it's Big Pharma, they're voting for everyone to have to take the COVID vaccine because I took X amount of dollars from Big Pharma, right? Or I took X amount of dollars from this pharmaceutical company. If it's big war and you're dealing with the nonstop war, there's always been a threat in the Middle East, right? And we've lost all of those wars, right? The Taliban has our weaponry. There were no weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. Generation 9/11 has grown up. We are demanding that all of you be able to answer some basic questions and to explain why a threat, which Tulsi Gabbard, the director of national intelligence 8 weeks ago, sat down in a congressional hearing and testified that there was no nuclear threat 8 weeks ago. Now, suddenly, 8 weeks later, there is one, right when Israel decides that they want to bomb Iran.
I'll add to that point. The Israelis themselves has said they've been searching, not even since a couple months, since 2018. They have been looking for a reason to bomb on these niggas. Let's keep it a buck. Let's be honest. The prime minister over there in Israel, I forget his name, but for about a decade, this nigga has been trying to push a war with these guys, which, in a lot of sense, if you think about it, ain't that what George Bush did too? 9/11 happens. All of a sudden, we got to go to war with Afghanistan, not because they bombed on the country, no, but because we think they got nukes. Come to find out, like Candace Owens said, they didn't have anything. So you can clearly see that these politicians are engaging in this war for another reason, whatever that reason might be to you, for money, race, whatever reason you can think of. It ain't because Iran got nukes. That's a lie. Okay? That's a fucking lie. Sorry, let Candace speak.
It's a nonsense. And I am tired of being gaslit by our politicians to pretend that we don't understand and can't perceive the threats. The threat, actually, frankly, is Israel, because we go to war and it only benefits them.
You know, you sound very, very disgusted. I'm wondering where the word fear comes into play. I believe I've read, or doing my research, I was told that you feel you needed security. Obviously, some of the things that you say are incredibly polarizing, particularly in this day and age right now. Whether it should be or not is for somebody else to conclude. I'm just telling you what they're saying.
Hold up, Stephen A. I'm gonna let you finish. I'm gonna let him finish. Don't worry. She needs security. Did y'all hear that? Let's be honest. Who in their right fucking mind want to do something to Candace Owens? Who? Now, her rhetoric is very polarizing. I'll say that much. I don't think nobody want to hurt this girl. Yeah, people on the internet say they want to hurt you. That's what they're supposed to do. They're bullshitting. They're lying. They probably see you in the face and it'd be all hunky-dory. Now, I could understand her walking around with one security guard. But 3, 4, what is she up in the damn team for?
When you take that into consideration right now, as you look at your life, you just was on maternity leave, you got 4 kids, you're happily married, etc. How comfortable is life for Candace Owens right now, or lack thereof, dare I say?
Well, I want to be honest. I have tremendous fear of God. And that's why you have to tell the truth, right? If you declare Christ's kingship and you truly are a Christian, then your number one fear is of God, because this is not it. We get 80 years in this life, and then we're in the next. And so when you see these people who pretend to be Christians and they look at what Israel is doing, they look at the nonstop campaign of starvation. You can look at the videos of them bombing children, the children crying, shooting children as they try to run for food, and you pretend to declare Christ's kingship, and yet what you're actually fearful of is saying that that's wrong because you don't want to be canceled, because you don't want to lose your job, because you don't want people to call you an anti-Semite. I question your sincerity is what I would say. I don't sit in the seat of judgment, but what I say to people is you are going to one day meet your maker. So you better start doing the right thing, which is to tell the truth unapologetically. And I want, in terms of my family, I want my children to inherit that from me, to be passionate for the truth, which is to be passionate for Christ, right? That is what Christ is. Christ is the truth. You have to follow Christ at all times. And I've made my position very clear on this.
Who are you saying is pretending to be Christian, just for clarification? Because you alluded to people
the argument that has been made by people, and Tucker Carlson just released further parts of this interview with Ted Cruz, and he says, why should we follow Israel? And he says, well, the Bible says that if I, bless Israel, then I will be blessed. That is what Ted Cruz says to Tucker Carlson about why we should be following them into this war. And Tucker Carlson, who's a Christian, pushes back on that. He's like, well, let's get into the theology of this. You think that you are going to be blessed, and I'm filling in the blanks here, but essentially what Ted Cruz is offering is that you will be blessed if you allow this nation, which was created in 1948, that Genesis is referring to, this modern nation of Israel, all right, to bomb, starve, kill, take land whenever they want, blackmail our politicians, Jeffrey Epstein, a lot of questions about who shot JFK and why we couldn't get those files. You're going to be blessed if you keep supporting this. And that is the reality, is that there was this incursion after the Schofield Bible. And this is what I really challenge people who believe this heresy, to look into the history of the Schofield Bible, look into who funded that Bible to teach Christians how to view the nation of Israel. The Bible is not referring to the modern state of Israel and Bibi Netanyahu. God is not calling upon you to support the slaughter of women and children perpetually, and is going to award you with heaven because kids are crying and starving and dying in the Middle East. I mean, you do have to have, if you don't have religious fervor or religious understanding, please just have a little bit of common sense, okay?
I agree, Candace. I totally agree. Let's have a little common sense, but not when it comes to wars, but when it also comes to race relations. Because these people like to use the Bible and God when it's beneficial for them. That's what they did during slavery. That's what they did during the civil rights movement. They will use, but God said, this is what the Bible said. It's only to benefit what message and what they're trying to preach at that moment. whether that be whatever it is. Because there's a lot of things in there that don't really add up if you truly read it. But a lot of people don't read it. They just go to church every Sunday. They don't really get into with what's actually in there and ask themselves questions like, well, why was this written? Why was that written? We don't follow this. We don't follow that. It's people that have all the richest treasures in the world that don't follow a lick of this shit in here. not a lick of it. But yet it still like they just get blessed for no reason. What are we doing? You know? This is coming from Preacher's Kid, which is crazy. But what are we doing? You know, you got to ask more questions sometimes. And it's not wrong to ask questions. But at the same time, I wish Candace would extend that same type of grace towards the Hispanics, towards black people, not just the whites and the Arabs when you feel like it. Because I'm sure if they were on some other shit, she would be saying something totally different, especially if it played into, I think most of her base, you know, they're veterans. They're probably people who are in the army and support Trump and support the Republic. So she don't want her base to have to go to war. Like, we just got them out of Afghanistan. Why are we sending them back? That's common sense. But it's also common sense to say, hey, if people want to go protest because a white man named Derek Chauvin stood on a black man's neck named George Floyd for however long he stood on his neck and killed him, then they should have the right to do that peacefully. They should have the right to do that, call it whatever movement they want to call it this, call it that. Now, while I understand the whole BLM thing, because, you know, the face of that, they weren't probably really in it because, you know, to make change and to see they probably were just in it to make change in the money term. You know, like they probably were just in it for the money, and that kind of showed over time. So I'm not talking about them. Black Lives Matter was never about those niggas. It was always about just, hey, understand that when you see a nigga, he not always a problem that you got to get rid of. Just have some social awareness. But then they tried to change that to White Lives Matter and All Lives Matter, and she was the conduit of it. She was the one in front of it. She was the one getting the clout off of it, getting the fame off of it, because she was dumb enough not using her common fucking sense that she just brought up to go, hey, I'm a black woman. Regardless of it, whether I kiss their ass or not, they gonna always see me as this. Period. Point blank, in the fucking discussion. So I'm never mad at somebody for making a choice and standing on it and standing on business, standing on 10. Do you? Have at it. But all I'm saying is, if you gonna hold them to the fire for this, you need to hold them to the fire for that. Because that same Bible that y'all love to refer to also says to love and give grace to all, not just who sees fit. So when you see a black man on the ground getting his fucking neck pushed in and getting killed by a white man that's a police officer, you should say to yourself, hey, that's not right. Instead of questioning who this person is, because that's all she did. That was her whole campaign. George Floyd was this. George Floyd was that. We're behind this person. That was her whole campaign. She got clout off it. I pay attention. I am the savviest of mics. I pay attention to everything. That's how she got it. You can come in my comments. I told you to go crazy. Go crazy. But I'm just letting you know right now. That's how she got it. And you know that's how she got it. So my thing is, look, you gonna hold Ted Cruz to the fire? Y'all gonna hold Trump to the fire? Tucker Carlson, Marjorie Taylor Greene, y'all gonna hold these? Okay, when right is wrong is wrong. I agree. This is wrong. Going to fucking war with Iran is stupid. What are we doing? But when it comes to matters in America, see, y'all okay with stoking the flames of a civil war, but when it come to World War III, what are we doing? Stop it. Fucking stop. Anyway, look, I told y'all I'm being honest today. you might get honest, Michael, for at least a month. Because look, I'm tired of the ass kissing. I see a lot of ass kissing. It's a lot of ass kissing that happens in this industry, no matter where it's at. No matter whether it's in politics, music, movie, it don't matter. It's a lot of ass kissing. I'm done. I'm finished. Because I ain't, only ass I'm kissing is J. Cole's. And that's because I think he's the greatest rapper of all time. I am not a Drake fan. Stop putting that in my damn comments. Like, okay, I like Drake's music. Two Mazza was good. It's some songs on Sexy Song for You that I play, yeah, because they're good. I'm sorry I like good music. I just like good music. What do you want from me? And if Drake is the conduit of that good music, fuck it. It is what it is. Clearly, he know what writers to get. He know what producers to get. He know what engineers to get to make the good music, and he's making the good music. I'm never putting him in my top 20, 25. He might be in 30 somewhere, but that's because of the ghostwriters. Leave me the fuck alone. Like, I'm tired of this shit. Can't just give somebody some props. That's what I'm saying. I ain't ass kissing. Only ass I am kissing, we're going to put it on Front Street right now. Only ass I'm kissing is Cole's. Period. Point blank. Call me a Cole fan. Call me a Cole stan. I will never get mad at that because that's the truth. when you sit there in my fucking comments and call me a Drake fan, and I ain't been a Drake fan since 2015, we have a problem. Anyways, I am Savvy Mike, and this is I Am Savvy Mike TV. Peace.